What's up? I'm Trenius Henderson. You tuned in to the famous Living Realm Network. Divine powers are always working for us because we're doing right. So I'm about to tell you about my law of attraction story and how I manifested becoming my own boss. Yeah, I'm my own boss right now. I got the YouTube Silver Award, over 100,000 subscribers. And, you know, I don't have to work for a soul. I get my own money, I write my own check, and I'm only 31 years old. And if I could do it, I know you could do it. It's really easy to create your own stream of income to where you don't have to work for anybody. And all it takes is for you to manifest it all. This is how I got here. Like, I manifested being here right now in a position that I'm in. And I'm gonna tell you a little bit about some of the things that I experienced because it was only, what, about 5 or 6 years ago. You know, I was at rock bottom. I didn't have a penny to my name, you know, and, you know, my life was just kind of upside down. And so I'm gonna tell you what I went through and how I got here right now, and how I noticed like the law of attraction was working in my life a long time ago, way before I even knew anything about it. First things first, man, I always been like a dreamer. I always been a dreamer. I always aspired to be something great. You know, I always wanted to be, you know, bigger than life, man. And I could not settle for less. You know, ever since I was a kid, I was always the best in, you know, art class. You know, I was the one giving all the middle school graduate diplomas, you know, on the stage with the principal. You know, I was always, you know, I always had a mindset to stand out and to be better than average. So I've always been a dreamer. And so I remember back in college, when I first went to college or whatnot, I wanted to be a big time music artist. A big time rap music artist, and I was doing that for a long time before I even got to college. And so when I finally got to college, Art Institute of Atlanta Music School, production school, whatever you want to call it, that's when I really got excited, and I took my aspiration to be a music artist to another level, because like the second year in college, I had landed like this major shot at this record label, and at the time I didn't even know what was going on. Like, I just remember me in my room one day, I was sending out emails to different record companies. This is while I was in college. I was sending out different emails to different record companies, like, listen to my music, listen to my music, listen to my music. And so this one record label hit me back, and it was like, come to the office, you know, the next day. So at the time, you know, I didn't think nothing about getting signed as a music artist or nothing. They just told me to come to the office. That's what I did. So I went to the record label or whatever, and then I waited on the general manager to invite me into her office. And I remember it like yesterday. Like, I'm in this record label, okay? I'm at this record label sitting in the lobby, you know, waiting on somebody to come to see me, the person who sent me the message to see me. And so I go into the office of the general manager. All I seen was general manager on her front desk. You know, I had no idea who she was, or I hadn't done my research or nothing. I'm young, completely baffled. Like, what's going on? Why am I here? I was just sending out emails, just hoping somebody would hit me back that listen to my music. So I'm thinking that she heard my music. I don't know. But anyway, make a long story short, I never forget the question. I'll never forget the question that she asked me, you know, when I was sitting in front of her desk. She asked me, where do I see myself in the next 5 years? And at that time, I could not answer that question. I was young-minded. I was narrow-minded. I could not answer that question. I couldn't even fathom what she was saying. And that's one of the questions that I ask a lot of people today, because I will never forget that I could not answer that question. And so, where you see yourself 5 years from now, all right? Where do you see yourself 5 years from now is always gonna be running through my head from that day on. And so she told me, do I have my music on me, my CD on me? But I was like, no, you know, in my mind, I'm thinking like, maybe I thought y'all already heard it. Ain't that's the reason why I'm here now? And so I was like, nah, I don't got the CD. I don't got no music. She was like, well, get out of my office and bring the music back in a couple days. And so that's what I did. I left, I went home, I looked up, did my research by this time. I did my research, and I had realized that I was in the office of general manager of Grand Hustle Records, who at the time was Hannah Kane. I didn't even know that it was Hannah Kane. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? And so I was really excited. You know, I was pumped up when I was at home, like, yo, she was trying to basically give me a deal. Like, I didn't even know. And so when I had got my music all pressed onto a CD, I went back, okay? And when I went back, I remember the person in the lobby, the secretary, was like, you know, give her some more time. She busy right now. So I'm just sitting in the office just waiting. Still got my CD on me. I'm excited. I know for a fact I'm about to get a record deal. Like, I know for a fact, because I came back with the music like she said. I knew I was on. I knew it. And so when it was time for me to go back into her office, I went back into the office. I was like, I got the CD right here. And she was on the phone at the time, so she really wasn't paying me any attention like she was last time. So she was kind of occupied. And I remember she called the secretary in the office with us, and she was on the phone. She was like, do you like him? And I was like, she was like, yeah, he all right. She was like, no, really, do you like him? She was like, yeah, he all right. And so I'm just wondering why she asking her that question. And so, I was just like, what the hell going on? You know, I'm like, what's going on here? And so after she said that, she told the secretary from in the front lobby of the office, she told her to take me back to pack some CDs. So I had immediately became an intern at this record label. And from that point on, I was only doing intern work, but I was still so young and astonished that I was even working at this record label. But I didn't know how to approach it from that point. I didn't know that maybe I could go back in there and, you know, build some rapport with the general manager, you know, use my gift of gab, which I didn't really even know I had at the time. And so time just went by, and that's when I kind of like my grades started dropping in college, because I was already working at a record label. I was already doing like what I aspired to go to college to do. So my grades was dropping. I remember going up to the office of the college and flunking out, like signing papers. I'm done. I don't even want to do it. I'm good. I'm getting money. You know what I'm saying? I was getting money doing what I was doing at that record label. And so, you know, everything kind of started going to the left a little bit. And that's when I first met the mother of my son, who was the mother of my son to this day. You know, we had a child or whatever, you know. Life began to get a little bit hard, as you can imagine, with a child coming into the world and whatnot. And so, you know, I'm still pursuing this music thing. I'm still doing intern work. You know, I'm still doing digital marketing for big time music artists. At the time, I was doing digital marketing for music artists. So I'm making good money by the week. I know that I'm gonna be good, you know, but at the same time, I did have a child coming into the world who needed to be taken care of. And so that's when like things started kind of like going downhill a little bit. And I remember the mom of my son she got fed up. She left me. And so I remember right at that time, that's when like all the bills was due at the apartment we stayed in. She left me. I dug that straight in the dirt, completely ruined that relationship. Just once again, just chasing dreams all my life. And I became like homeless. I remember I got evicted at the apartment that we was staying in together. I started living out my car. I started sleeping behind the apartment buildings. I started going parks. Some parks, police come, they see me there a whole lot of days. They won't let me come back no more. I remember I ain't had no but my clothes, three bags in the back of my trunk, some comforters. And I was just trying to keep from going back home, because that's the rule when you trying to accomplish your dreams. When you go to college, if something go dead, go bad, you go back home, people gonna look at you as a failure. So I did the best I can with the amount of time that I had, and I didn't want to go back home. And so I remember, like, I got a phone call one day that my dad had got sick. My dad had got really sick, really, really bad, like real bad sick. So that kind of like done something to me right there. I'm like, yo, my son was gone. My son was gone. Couldn't see him no more. The mother of my son was gone. I ain't have no money. I ain't have nowhere to stay. And so I ain't had nothing but my stuff in my car. And so that was like a sign for me that, that the universe wanted me to go back home. So I do anything for my parents. So I went back home and I helped out, my dad the best that I could. And so that's when I had went back home from out of college. And at the time I was still trying to pursue my music career. I'm still trying to, make it work the best way I can. The only thought in my mind was to get back down to Atlanta, because that's where it was. That's where I got my opportunities at versus being at home. And so I ended up having to get a job. I didn't even want to get no job. I ended up having to get a job back at home, and that's when I started working 9 to 5. Back to the 9 to 5. I still didn't consider myself a failure, but I'm sure other people around me, behind my back, they probably like, Tren, he back at home, he ain't up to no good now. He's still trying to dream. He's still trying to do music. He ain't gonna make it. I'm pretty sure that's what people were thinking. And I still wouldn't give up music. I'm just doing my music from time to time, here and there, making new songs and stuff like that. And then that's when I was working. That's when I actually met my ex-wife. So me and my ex-wife got together, and I was still doing music. Like, I would not let it go, but it wasn't earning me any money. I was miserable a little bit because I had like something that I had came so close to accomplishing. I seen it like go like to the left real quick, and it was weighing in on my consciousness to where it was like, yo, I gotta do something else to make me some money. Like, this is messing up my relationships. I ain't seen my son. Like, this is not helping me at all. So when I met my ex-wife, I stopped doing music. I stopped it. And so I had to come up with a different way to dream. And so I just meditated on what can I do next outside of work to keep my dream alive. And so I knew exactly how to make it. Can't nobody tell me how to make it. I know I was that close to doing it. And so nobody could tell me how to make it. So I said to myself, man, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start making videos telling people that's dreaming how to do it, because I know how to do it. I know how to do it. And my situation, my permanent situation was not gonna convince me that I wasn't doing the right thing. I was following my heart. And so that's when I started the YouTube. That's when I started doing YouTube vlogging and becoming a life coach to help other dreamers out there who aspire to be what I long to be. And that's how much I really had a passion for success, like to the point that I like to help other people become successful. And so I hated this 9 to 5 job. I hated working there. Every day I dreaded it. And so I know I manifested, me not working. Like, I manifested me not working, because every day I would try to come in with this smile. I would try to be ambitious as I can, do my best, work at the job. But I hated it in the back of my mind. I hated it because I knew who I was. And I'm like, I'm working at this furniture place. And I'm still doing the YouTube on the side, like what I'm doing now. I'm doing the YouTube on the side. And every day I would come home and do a little bit of video every day, every single day. And it was to the point, man, I think my ex-wife kind of a little bit got fed up with it, because I was giving more attention to my dream than people. And I think that to this day, like, that's why so many people are not in my life that I love the most. Like, that's why I know a lot of relationships that I used to once upon a time have, I don't have them no more, all because of this dream. This dream has made me, I have to sacrifice a lot of relationships and all that. And so I remember my wife wanted to leave me. She said, you know, she leaving. I said, okay, that's cool, you know, to each his own. And so she left. And so I was stuck to pay, you know, all the bills. I was stuck to pay like all the bills, like, you know, by myself or whatever. And so that's what I had to do. Like, I had to pay all the utility bills. I had to pay all the rent. I had to pay my own car insurance, own car payment, all by myself now. I did not have my second half no more. And I remember, like, I was so frustrated. I remember I knew I was about to get fired too from my job. And because my boss, I wasn't putting out the work no more like I normally did. And like, I really wanted to be successful. And so it showed in my work ethic, like I didn't want to be there. And so I remember my boss calling me in the office one day, and he was just letting me know, like, I knew it was coming because I could feel this energy. Like, I'm like, something gonna happen, yo. Either I'm gonna quit this job or I'm gonna get fired. I could feel it in my spirit, in my soul. And so that's what I did. That's what he did. Like, he told me one day, he was like, hey, Trent, man, you gotta find somewhere else to go, because you're gonna have to go, bro. Like, you're gonna have to go, bro. And I'm just like, okay, I get it. And so he gave me like a week to find something new, and I found something new. And here I was struggling, didn't know how to pay all my bills or nothing like that. You know, I had to wait on a new job to come in, like right in between that time when I got fired and me starting my new job. That's when on YouTube I like made my first big check, like my check. I made my check, and I'm like, yo, I made my check. I made a check off of something that I'm passionate about. It was the first time in my life that, again, that I had, you know, saw my flame rekindle. Like, yo, I might have something here. And so a while after that, I got me another big check off doing life coaching and being a YouTube vlog. And I'm so like, yo, I'm really excited now. But it still wasn't enough to cover the cost of all my bills that I had to pay. And so I remember me having to go get another job, and not working, because at the time I wasn't working, but I'm paying all this stuff by myself. And so I went and got me another job through a temp agency. And man, I felt more horrible than I did at this new job than I did at my old job. And I remember, like, I'm just saying to myself, I cannot do this. Like, I had already felt what it feels like to not work, you know, and you know, still be doing my little passion on the side. So I was really like kind of dreading even being there even more than my first job. And so I had to quit. And so it's funny because one day, listen, this is how the universe works. One day I was scared to like be on my own and not have to work at first, but like after this experience right here, this kind of like the universe showed me like I can do it. And so I remember one day I went to work, and I always listen to audio podcasts of motivational speakers and inspirational speakers when I was working at this new job, just to keep my energy up, just to keep my, you know, myself motivated and you know, focused. And so I remember me turning on this one podcast, and the guy was talking on the podcast, and it felt like he was talking to me. Like, he was like, I don't know who you are right now. This is a podcast I'm listening to, like an inspirational podcast. He's like, I don't know who you are right now, but you know you don't supposed to be where you at right now. You've been feeling it. You've been feeling like there's a plan for your life, this and that. I'm just like, what? I'm like, this is crazy. I started to almost take him out because it started to like freak me out a little bit. And then God was like, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to walk out right now. And I'm just like, he didn't even say walk out from what. He was just like speaking through this podcast. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to walk out right now. And I know this is what you've been wanting to do. And so he did the countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. I'm listening while I'm working. People around me and they're working the whole time. I'm like, yo, I want to quit anyway. He got down to 3, 2, 1. And I remember I just walked out the door of that new job. I just walked out. I hopped in my car. And what's funny, this is how the universe works. what's funny is when I was going to my car in the parking lot, my boss was coming in off lunch, and he saw me leaving, and he rolled down his window like, "Tren, where you going?" I had my headphones still in, like I couldn't hear him. Like I couldn't hear him because I didn't want to go back. I didn't want to turn back. And so I left. I rode right by him. I left, and he kept calling my phone. I ain't even answer. And so I just let it go. I was like, yo, I ain't going back to work no more ever again. I ain't never going back to work no more ever again. I was like, universe, if you got something special for me, like if this YouTube gonna work for me being a life coach vlogger gonna work, I'm putting all my heart into that. I've just always been a dreamer. And so that's what I did. I never returned to work. And then I started making even more money on my YouTube channel, even more money per month on my YouTube channel. And now I could pay all my bills. And I remember my, we cool to this day, but I remember my ex-wife even calling me back like, "You still there? You still?" I know basically she was like, "You still able to pay? What you doing?" Like, I'm just like, yo, I do YouTube. Like, I do YouTube. I mean, she was like, "Oh, okay, cool, okay." I'm like, "Yeah, I do YouTube." And so, ever since then, like, I've been able to even travel. I was able to travel after that. I never had to go back to work or nothing. Like, I never worked for nobody ever since like, what was that, like 2 years ago? That was like 2 years ago. And I've just always been vlogging, and I eventually became my own boss. And I started, creating my own products and started creating my own services. I started coaching other YouTubers that started their channel. That's one of my courses. I created courses. And like I said, ever since then, this is how I became my own boss. This is how I created my own lane for me to be able to not have to work for nobody. And like, this is how the law of attraction worked for me. Like, it worked out the whole time. It worked out. And so, going back to what the general manager of that record label told me, that question that she asked me, what do I see myself in the next 5 years? That was like that was about 5 or 6 years ago. And so look at where I'm at today. Now I see why she asked me that question back then, because back then it's today, and it just happened so fast. And I couldn't never see myself doing this, but it's the fact that she asked a question that had to do everything with manifestation. It had everything to do with manifestation. And maybe she knew about manifestation at the time. I don't know. But that's why I always ask people that get sessions with me that's out trying to accomplish their dream. That's why I always ask, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Because wherever you see yourself being, whoever you see yourself becoming, whether you want to become your own boss, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Might even be before 5 years. But whatever you saying right now, okay? I was saying back then, I want to be my own entrepreneur. I want to be my own boss. I don't want to work, this and that. I was saying that back then, and I got that today. Okay, I got that today. I probably wasn't able to be a music artist, but I still, have my artistry, and I'm still able to live creatively and do it freely. You understand? So it's a win-win situation when you use the manifestation. All you got to do is speak into existence what you want, and be very specific as to what you want. Because even to this day, man, I'm speaking now since I understand what her question meant. Now I'm speaking things into my future from today, and I already know that I'm gonna get it, because I done already seen it happen 5 years ago. Okay, so this is my law of attraction story. This is how I manifested becoming my own boss. I'm Trenius Henderson. Anybody could do it. Anybody could do it. And so, yeah, that's it. That's my story right there, man. If anybody want to get in contact with me, you got some dreams that you're trying to accomplish or whatever, you might trying to get through a struggle or whatever, you need my assistance, I am your life coach. I am a life coach. Get in contact with me. Send me an email right now and say, Tren, I want a session with you, and I'll be glad to talk to you so you can get to become your own boss as well. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to my channel by clicking my face icon. and hit the bell notification so that you can be notified first every time I upload a new video every single day. All right, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.